Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another news and notes mashup video today, starting with Tyson Fury, with his co-promoter Frank Warren saying that Fury could be out next on March the 26th. As we know, there is ongoing sort of issues between him and Dillian Whyte, the WBC interim champion, about a potential fight. It has been ordered. There could be a purse bid. There's lots of ifs, buts and maybes. And maybe because of the 80-20 split, the ongoing arbitration that Whyte has initiated, that Tyson Fury could be fighting someone else on March the 26th. But we will have to see, because obviously a lot of water to go under the bridge, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was another fight. But then again, if it doesn't happen, it wouldn't surprise me either, because it is boxing after all. But they are targeting that date. So Warren says Tyson wants to fight by the end of March. As a team, we're looking at other situations as well. Whatever happens, he'll fight on March 26th. That's what the objective is. And when he was asked if the fight would take place in the UK or America, he said, "I'm not going to say where it is." Well, I guess they need to sort of strap down an opponent, and that will probably determine the likely location. Sticking with Tyson Fury, he has tested the waters on social media about a fight with Francis Ngannou, who is the UFC heavyweight. So he says, "Who would like to see me fight this beast? Boxing rules at UFC gloves." And then he's added Dana White and also Francis Ngannou. So this sort of kicked off a bit of an exchange. So Ngannou says, "How about MMA rules with boxing gloves? I can do you that favor." So Fury responded, "You want to come into my world calling me and Wilder out to a boxing match. What I can guarantee you would be knocked out and paid your highest purse to be so. So have a think." And Ngannou did respond saying, "After I handle business on Jan 22, I'll fight you under any special rule set you want, in a ring, an octagon, or a phone booth." That is Francis Ngannou, the UFC heavyweight. So this sort of fight, I mean, I was thinking about it and I was like, is this realistic? I mean, Francis Ngannou has no real sort of background in boxing at any real top level. Sure, he's in a different sport competing at a high level, but it is two different things, two different disciplines. He would struggle coming straight into boxing, going at it with Tyson Fury. Kind of feels like more of a gimmick, but to me this feels like Fury is just sort of stoking the fires on social media. It's a bit of buzz, some headlines, but would it really happen? Because in reality, Fury has other things on his plate. Eventually there'll be a fight, likely with Dillian Whyte. Obviously Undisputed is on the potential horizon as well. Is he going to be taking on some sort of rookie heavyweight into boxing in Francis Ngannou, who does have good power? Sure, that I'll give you that, but he's not beating Tyson Fury coming straight into the sport. That just seems laughable to me. But I can't completely discount that something like this would happen, for the fact that obviously Tyson Fury has made forays into other things like wrestling, but then again, that's more entertainment rather than a full-on combat sport, as it were, because it's largely decided, scripted, etc. But I can't see where Fury would be squeezing in Ngannou fight. But obviously this is a response to Francis Ngannou previously calling out, as he mentioned in one of his tweets, him and Deontay Wilder. I can't see it happening though, but I am at the same time a bit curious about it as well. But I think we can just write it off, really. But what do you make of it? Let me know. Do you actually think it's feasible? And given Tyson Fury's history, dips into other things, could it happen? When could it happen? Let me know. Sticking with Tyson Fury again, so he's posted to social media how he's feeling so far in the year of 2022.
For 11 days now, guys, I've run every morning and trained every night, weights and cardio. I'm absolutely feeling fantastic. I couldn't be in a very better place if I tried. Just waiting on some big news coming. Moving on to one of Tyson Fury's division rivals, former unified champion Anthony Joshua has spoken to Sky Sports, opening up about his mindset following his loss to Alexander Usyk, where ultimately he lost a lopsided decision on the cards. Tried to box with the boxer. So he says, "I was supposed to fight Fury last August. If I don't fight the guy I'm supposed to fight,
I want the next best. Usyk came up from cruiserweight, a great fighter, a 12-round fighter. There was always the stigma saying that I can't box, that I was a big, stiff bodybuilder. Well, that kind of sounds like he's taken Tyson Fury's sort of previous comments to heart there a little bit. He said, okay, cool. Usyk won 9 rounds, I won 3 rounds. In the next fight, if I win 4 more rounds, then I will win. Let me simplify that matter. Then I'll get onto the road to being the undisputed champion again. It'll be interesting to see Anthony Joshua, what he's going to try to do in the next fight, because we've heard in other interviews, I guess most famously the IFL interview with Hughie Fury a number of months back after the loss, where he basically sort of said he was chucking in the sweet science and he would be going to war. He's been throwing out this narrative of a throwback fighter. It was a bit of an odd interview in the sense that it sort of jumped all over the place and you didn't really get a sense of where his mind sort of frame was at. It sort of seemed to be a bit all over the place and a little bit contradictory in places, but clearly still grappling with that loss and trying to sort of overcome it. But is he saying that he's going to again try to box Alexander Usyk, because that strategy didn't pay off in the first one? Because undoubtedly, if it goes 12 rounds, I think Alexander Usyk is more than likely to be the guy with his hand raised at the end of it. But he continues, I belong on the big stage, I belong as a champion, I belong among the names of this current generation. You will see why. If I didn't fight the best, I may not have lost. People have high expectations of me, so they are shocked. I have high expectations too. When I lost the first time, I never made excuses, but I had my reason. I took my loss, but I knew I would get back. But this one hurt. There were no problems. I just lost to the better man on the night. But it gave me motivation to pull myself out of that position. I will redeem myself. This is the biggest stage of my career. How he's going to do that and sort of rebuild himself and sort of come in with a winning strategy, that's the million-dollar question. And there is also another part of the interview which wasn't part of that story, but he quoted as saying here, and this is via Michael Benson, I've been based in Sheffield and had a good chat with my coach. I want to try some new things, a new environment to get inspired again and take the heavyweight division by storm. New environment, work with some new coaches and go to war. It's a warrior's mindset. So, I mean, we've already had the indication, I guess, there in previous interview with Hughie Fury, as previously noted, that he is going to come in apparently a bit more aggressive and go back to sort of the old Joshua. But can that Joshua, if he's coming forward, being more aggressive, trying to use the height and reach, physical attributes of strength, try to sap Usyk, bully him a little bit, be more aggressive? You know, that also could have its downsides too, but I'm looking forward to the second fight, because Joshua's going to have to do something different to win. And there may be risks, and he may get knocked out. He may get stopped in the second fight if he is aggressive and gets timed and clipped. But then again, he might be able to land something as well. We have seen him land something, some punches on Usyk, who did say that, yeah, look, they hurt. But yeah, this rematch, there is some open questions about Josh with the strategy. The coaching situation still sounds a little bit weird in my mind, having multiple guys involved, maybe no one real voice. He says he wants to have Rob McCracken still as his gaffer, as he says, but maybe other people working with him on different things. Too many cooks? Well, this is all going to come out in the wash eventually. What do you make of Joshua? Some of the comments, some of the his mindset at the moment. Does he sound a little bit all over the place, or is this just a man with many ideas trying to put them all together? Let me know. Filip Hrgovic's co-promoters, Sauerland Brothers, or Wasserman now, says they weren't given a reason as to why Joseph Parker turned the IBF final eliminator with their man Hrgovic down. So he says the rankings become a mockery. This is Kalle Sauerland. We've just gone through the rankings before. This isn't about rejecting financial terms, because fighters are rejecting us before we even discuss that. They are rejecting an opportunity to fight for the world title. And that is a good point, because I think we all know that it's probably about money ultimately, because Filip Hrgovic's profile is not huge. Does he bring fans and money and all that sort of stuff to the table? But obviously they're not liking what they sort of see even before getting to that sort of next stage. Because if they start negotiating for a fight like Michael Hunter did, and then they walk away after that point, then that's when they get dropped from the rankings. So Calisalainen continues, all we can do is lobby the IBF to continue through the rankings as soon as possible or make Filip a direct mandatory. That is something we are pushing. The IBF need to act because it makes a mockery of their rankings. People should not be ranked if they have no intention of boxing for the title. And that's a good point. I mean, it does make a bit of a sham of the rankings if you can go all the way through the 15, and this is what they have done previously for Hrgovic, and no one wants to bite for a guaranteed shot at a title if they beat Hrgovic. And as I pointed out to someone on Twitter, it's probably going to be someone who's probably in a similar situation to Hrgovic with no other options. Remembering guys like Luis Ortiz, Joseph Parker, and potentially some others have other rankings, have other opportunities, have more chance to make bigger money elsewhere. And those are factors, and that is an unfortunate reality in the heavyweight division. Hughie Fury's promoter Ben Shalom says that he thinks a Derek Chisora Hughie Fury fight could be a goer. And actually, even right off the bat there, I think he might be right. But simply for the fact that, has Derek Chisora sort of played out the guys that he could face at DAZN, and he is with Anthony Joshua's management company. I don't believe he's on a long-term deal. And if Sky Sports is willing to throw money at fighters at the moment through its new link-up with Boxer, trying to build its own brand and get its boxing stable and shows back up to a really good standard, bringing Chisora in, dropping some money on him in a fight with Hughie Fury, it could make a lot of sense. And Chisora, 3 losses on the bounce, he'll be looking for the biggest paydays around. That's kind of what he's been doing through his career. He might have all those losses, but he's been making a lot of money and being on pay-per-view. But his promoter says he will struggle to get the Deontay Wilder fight. Talking of Chisora, that fight has been spoken about. Even Dillian Whyte struggled to get the Wilder fight. Hughie is the fight that makes sense for Chisora. If Chisora wins, it proves that he's still an elite British heavyweight. Chisora lost to Parker. Hughie arguably beat Parker when he was just 23 years old. If Chisora wants to bounce back with a bang, if he's still serious, Chisora is a very good and only loses to the elite guys. For Hughie, it's a good fight. The fans want to see it, they love Derek and want to see Hughie tested. We have reached out to Derek, we want the fight, Hughie wants it, Peter Fury wants it, it's an exciting fight for us. So I'll cut it off there, but ultimately it's going to come down to, well, how much money are you going to give Chisora? If it's a number that he fancies, he'll take it. I think it's kind of that simple. He is a mercenary like that. He's a prize fighter. He's at the tail end of his career. Some of the names that he could fight elsewhere, maybe he's kind of there out of reach. But Hughie Fury, that makes sense for Hughie Fury from his path back from earlier losses in his career. And if he is the sort of top dog in terms of the heavyweights at Sky at the moment, and they're willing to throw some money at it, it could work. And rounding out this heavyweight news and notes mashup video today, so the 3-0 prospect Jeremiah Milton has been signed to a promotional deal by Holden Productions. So Milton says Holden Productions has been doing great things for fighters in multiple weight classes. I'm glad to be joining a successful team based out of my hometown. We're going to put the world on notice. And he returns to action at the end of the month with a top-ranking ESPN card that is actually in his hometown. So we'll see him soon, I guess. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.